So here we are again. Security's back front and centre in the media for hotel quarantine failings. How is this a thing after Victoria and the whole security industry in Australia went through what it went through in Melbourne almost a year ago now? How are we back in this place? I'm not interested in hearing from the pseudo inquiries that obviously came up with no answers and everybody forgot, nobody knew. Whatever, that's fine. We knew that was going to happen. But from within the industry, from within, we all know what happened. We all know what caused it. We all know what perpetuates it. We all saw it happen. And 12 months later, we're doing the exact same thing, but now it's in Perth. Well, guess what? It was always in Perth. And it's always everywhere else. It's still in Sydney. It's still in Adelaide. It's everywhere else. There's no break in this. There's not isolated incidents that, oh yeah, Melbourne didn't do great a while ago, but they're perfect now. Guaranteed it's the same thing now. It was always bad in Perth. And you want to know why? Because it's the same companies with the same staff with the same level of training. It's exactly the same process. So to all you clients, all you government officials that hired a company based on the fact they've got an environmental management plan and they do cultural diversity training and they've done your 10-minute federal government COVID safe online training, that's not what this program's about. This is a specialist high-risk security program, and you gave it to the same companies that do the lowest end work in the country. The companies that either directly or indirectly through subcontractors pay the lowest rates in the country, which are completely illegal, but doesn't matter because they've got an environmental management policy and that ticks a whole bunch of government tendering boxes, right? We all know what the failings are. We all know why this happens. And now we focus on a guard in Perth who, it's come out, was getting $22 an hour. Well, no wonder he was working Uber as a second job. Somebody's got to feed his kids, and it wasn't his employer. Because his employer is a slave labourer. End of story. $22 an hour with no other entitlements, probably not insured. That's slave labour. And guess what? Whoever the client is in that case, and in every other case, you're contributing to slave labour. Don't pass the buck and say, oh, that's my contractor, that's not my responsibility. Or that's my subcontractor, that's not my responsibility. Crap. You know what's happening. You just want to distance yourself from it. So is anybody surprised this is all happening again? Absolutely not. Well done on saving a few bucks an hour. How much does the lockdown cost you? How much does the lockdown cost every state and every person within it and every other stakeholder and person impacted by it? More than a few bucks an hour, I'm guessing. And if you are paying legitimate rates, why are you not checking what the company's passing on? If you are paying $70 or $80 an hour, as was asserted in Melbourne, well, if the guard's making 22, doesn't that raise a question? Don't you think on a high-risk projects, these are exactly the kind of things you need to be checking for and understanding? And if there's 5 layers of subcontracting, don't you think that should be part of it? If you're a company owner and you can't staff a contract, either in volume or in expertise or in resources, don't take it. It's pretty simple. Your greed and your desire to be front and centre of a big security program, make lots of money and be on TV is jeopardising people's safety. You have an obligation to provide a safe working environment for your staff. So guess what? The government departments didn't provide you enough training or enough PPE. Either walk away from the contract or provide it yourself. That's the end of it. Your staff are more important than your profits. It's very simple. And how's that worked out for you now? All your reputations are shot. That's the end of it. Slave labour, not providing a safe working environment. What a win. But it's going to keep happening because it's happening everywhere. I said this last year, this is not isolated to Melbourne or to Perth or to Sydney or to hotel quarantine. These are issues that are happening around the country on a 24/7 basis. There are plenty of places, security work, that are extremely high risk to the public, high risk to client reputation, high risk to personal safety. And these exact same issues are happening there. So, okay, it's hotel quarantine that's come out because there's a lot of media attention about it. But how many other high-risk places are failing? And when they fail, what's the risk of that? Security works at critical infrastructures all over the country, at banks, at mints, at corporate offices, at mine sites, at nuclear installations. Look, what about when that goes wrong? We're just going to wait for that to happen, are we? Or is somebody going to clean it up? calling for regulators to step in, calling for this. It's not going to happen. We all know that. That's just a pseudo fluff piece to go, yeah, I've put my voice out there and I call for change. Change it. Pay your guards properly. If you can't afford to because your client's ripping you off, go back to the client and say, guess what? Slave labour doesn't work for me. I don't want to operate like that anymore. And guess what? You shouldn't either. So here's an amount where I pay my staff a reasonable amount of money. I cover my overheads. I'm lawfully compliant. Here's the new price. It's pretty simple. I've turned down work that many times because somebody calls me and says, hey, do this job, but I'm offering you this much. If it's not appropriate for me to pay my staff for what they're worth, if it doesn't allow for safety equipment or resourcing or planning time or anything else to keep them safe while they're at work, or achieve the mission the client wants achieved, then I don't take the job. In reverse, I've had clients call me and say, oh, I need 6 people for a certain job. I look at it, I say, no, you don't, you need 3. Just a bit of honesty. We're supposed to be experts. Use your expertise to advise your clients properly on exactly what they need. If it's more, give them more. If it's less, give them less. And if at the end of the day it doesn't work, have some pride in yourself, have some respect for all those working in the industry and your fellow humans that are under your care, and walk away. This doesn't change till we change it. And everybody's sitting around saying, well, it's okay because I'm doing it, but everybody else is doing it, or I'm going to wait for somebody to come and punish me for it, or for some regulator to step in and do something about it. It's crap. Just fix it. Everyone in this process, stop ruining each other and just fix it.